All right, folks. Hakeem Jeffries has lost total control of the Democrat Party. Here he is with CNN on an interview, and he's so frustrated because of these socialists. He's lost total control, and it's going to cost them the midterms. We're going to tell you how, who, what, and where. Take a look here. This is clip 4.
A statement yesterday slamming what you called the malicious claim that American Jews are inviting violence against themselves as, quote, dangerous and anti-Semitic. Was that in reference to far-left influencer Hassan Piker and his recent very controversial comments?
Yes, those comments were dangerous, malicious, and anti-Semitic, and should not be tolerated by anyone in the public square. What we've seen is a startling rise of hate crimes all across the United States of America, but particularly in this moment directed against our Jewish brothers and sisters. And everybody, regardless of ideological perspective, should be willing to denounce this rise of anti-Semitic rhetoric, hate crimes, and bigotry, and actually try to move us to a society where we embrace everyone, even where there are differences on issues, be they foreign or domestic. The notion that people should be targeted because of their religious beliefs or ethnicity or race, whatever the case may be, that's fundamentally inconsistent with who we are in this country.
Yes, indeed. Hassan Piker's clout among Democrats, though, particularly some younger Democratic voters, seems to be growing. We saw, for example, his prominence in the Michigan Senate Democratic primary. So why not call him out by name in your statement if you feel so passionately about this issue?
I've just addressed Hassan Piker's comments as it relates to the Jewish community as forcefully as I can, and I will continue to do that.
Yes, but in your original statement, he was not addressed by name. That's why I was raising the question.
Ooh. Even CNN is pounding them on this socialist issue. Nicole, what are your thoughts?
I think Wolf Blitzer could have went a little bit harder on him. I really do. He could have nailed his tail to the wall. This newfound crap, now we have to get the Jews to vote for us because the Black people are leaving. This new strategy is not going to work. Do you remember Kamala, although she still would have lost to Trump, would have had a much better chance had she picked Josh Shapiro, the very popular so-called moderate Democrat governor of the great state or great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. He didn't get picked not because he's not a fine politician, not because he's not a fine governor or popular. He didn't get picked because he's Jewish. And she said as much in her book. So this newfound love for everything Jewish coming from the minority leader himself falls flat. We know he doesn't believe it. We know that other Democrats don't believe it. He could have called out Hassan Piker. He could have said what he said is absolutely malicious. It has no place in American culture and society, and left it at that. But then the slap on that, oh, we really love Jewish people foolishness. Dude, we were here for the presidential cycle. We remember how you guys acted.
Yeah. I mean, and Hassan Piker hasn't just appeared. He's been doing this for years, Shelley. It seems that they are taking over the Democrat Party. What are your thoughts?
No, it doesn't seem. They are. That's what they're doing. So, let's stop with this facade or it appears to be. They are doing that. And the Hassan Pikers and whomever else, they don't know what to do. Look, AOC has been coming up through the ranks for years, okay? She has literally been building her clientele, so to speak. Let me say that, her audience, her contingency, and she's actually playing to them. And I believe, in my never to be humble opinion, that she's also grooming, if you will. I mean, take that in the literal sense, not the sexual sense. But she's grooming Hassan Piker and the ladies from Michigan and Wisconsin and Minnesota. This is what they've been planning to do. They have been waiting for their time, and in their minds, the ball has dropped in their lap, and they are running with it.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I totally agree there. And Nicole, so what's the difference that we're seeing? Because we know people use Bernie Sanders has been doing this for decades, and it
Mhm.
hasn't caught on like now. The Democrats have a real problem with this socialist wing, as Shelley mentioned. So what's happened between within the last couple of years where you had Bernie Sanders was in the background and now his agenda, his rhetoric is in the forefront, and it seems as though Americans are rejecting it wholeheartedly.
Well, what happened was, Bernie looks like a mad scientist, right? Using your eyes, he looks like he could be a crackpot. But when it starts coming from younger, more elite faces, especially for Democrats, that's what they value. They really do believe that they have a problem with young people, and they do. They have a problem with men. They do. So here comes a younger man with his flawed rhetoric, and they're like, we're going to hold our noses and push him out front because he's going to attract donors, young elite people with money to spend, and people who are ideologues like they are. It starts off like I always say, there's a dinner table conversation for them, cocktail party conversation. If we didn't have to be responsible for anything, all things being equal, would it be great for no one to have $1 billion and everybody to be a thousandaire? No, because then the money has no value. But after 5 glasses of wine and some heavy hors d'oeuvres, yeah, I could buy into that foolishness. You know what I mean? Now that's become their major policy because legacy Democrats, mainstream Democrats, dropped the ball. They put all their eggs in the TDS basket and it did not work. So they're scrambling. They had no intention, no plan for what happens if Trump wins. I mean, they really had no plan. They had all of their energy in this Kamala basket. They just knew she was going to win. They knew she was going to take it. And when she did not, we talked about it endlessly, breathlessly on this show. They had no plan. And truth be told, they still have no plan. And this is why the lunatics are running the asylum.
Yeah, yeah. Folks, sound off in the chat and let us know what you think. What have you all been hearing in your cities, in your states about these socialists? Does it feel like that, people are seeing that they are taking over the Democrat Party and most people want no parts of it? We have viewers, our family, our YouTube family is all over the country, and it's a great bellwether on what's going on. So let us know what you think. Folks, you are watching Poppin' Politics, and if you are tired of these commie leftists trying to take over our country, you're in the right place because we push back against it. Come on in, hit that like button. That helps to tell YouTube to push this video out in front of a wider audience, and subscribe. All right, we already have some super chatters, Shelly, it looks like.
All right, let's see who we have. First one, I think I know who it is. It's Kung Fu CJ, of course. Thank you, Kung Fu. Kung Fu says, okay, ladies, let's get it. And we are getting it tonight. So, thank you for your super chat, Kung Fu CJ. You're always one of our first and trusty busties here. Everybody else out there, you got it. You know what to do. Hit that like, share, and subscribe right now. Hit it right now. Hit the notification bell so you will not miss an episode when we go live. Go ahead and do it right now while you're waiting. And thank you so much for your support.
Absolutely, absolutely. And folks, as you come on in, we talk about this stuff. Again, we are God-fearing, truth-seeking, America-loving people that value freedom, and we wear the movement as well, folks. Here's one of our mugs, not black, not white, American. Don't let them divide us. Okay, it is a great way to support the channel. And we've got more of this. We've got great merch. What's up, everybody? This is Poppin' Politics. Get your merch. Are you a Poppin' Politics fan? Are you unapologetically American? Or not black, not white American? We got it all for you right here. Get your merch.
Get the classic shirt. Classic. Goes with everything, comes in a variety of colors. Smart, edgy, conservative, like us, like you. This is a great way to support the channel. Click the merch button.
There is no shame in being an American. Get your shirt today and be unapologetic about it.
Get your shirt, wear it, and be a proud American.
You can get it all in t-shirts and hoodies. You can get it in stickers, on bags. You can get it all on our website, metroconservativemedia.com, or our YouTube page, Pop and Politics, and tag over to store. You can get your merch and show you're proud to be an American and support Pop and Politics. Absolutely, folks. Now more than ever, we need to show our patriotism, show our love for this country, because you have people like Hassan Piker who are actually cheering and rooting for our enemies. We've played countless videos of him doing this. Here is a video where he is literally singing a song about the assassination of Charlie Kirk. It's disgusting. But this is somebody on the Democrat side.
Unafraid to die. We'll fight for the gospel. We'll honor his name. We honor Charlie Kirk. His courage our own.
It's terrible. It's terrible. I don't even want to finish it. But this is what we show you all this stuff because we're not pulling this out of thin air. There are literally people out here. This guy was out here stumping for countless Democrats, major ones, even some that are already in office. And you have to beg Hakeem Jeffries to denounce him. Shelley, your thoughts?
And he really only, I'm going to say, denounced it very specifically, just because of the statement I guess he recently made. He's actually not denouncing Hassan and the DSA types of the party. I contend, I'm going to stand on it. They are only doing or saying as much as they need to get through this media cycle, to get through the piling on towards the Democrats, at least right now. But once the midterm comes, and certainly as long as these DSA types keep winning, they are not going to unsupport them. They're going to support them every time they win. They're not going to call for them to step down or not even vote. Once they win, and if they continue to win, certainly after the midterms, if they win, you're going to find the Democratic leadership, the party, all of the former Nancy Pelosi types, all of those wings, they will support those candidates. Bottom line.
Yeah, Nicole, it's no longer just a difference of opinion on how we make this country great, how we run the country, whether we're going to increase social programs or whether we want people to, the social programs are just going to be for people who need help, widows and things like that. I mean, now it's just crazy versus sane. What are your thoughts?
There used to be a time in American politics where the underlying current was the best thing for the nation. Both sides wanted the best thing for America, right? And that was the tie that bound us together. Now we have sitting politicians saying that America deserved September 11th, agreeing with an attack on our homeland, the destruction of the United States. They'll put that up for a $25 donation. Listen, as an activist, as a grassroots person, as a leader, as a strategy person, I get text messages from the Democrats. I get it from the independents. I most certainly get it from our own party. And I will tell you, some of the things that they put in a text message to try to get you to donate are just as vile as the things that they're saying. Because again, what used to be their rock solid base is no longer donating. In politics, you have to have money. You can be the best candidate. And you ladies know this. You can be the best candidate, have the best ideas, have all of the right things, be well spoken, well educated, the look, the whole thing. If you don't have money, guess what you are? The loser is what you are. You're the loser. It costs money. It costs money to get people to get out here and knock these doors all over your town, your state, the nation. It costs money for campaign commercials, signs, flyers, door knockers. I mean, it costs money for all of these things. All of these things cost not a little bit of money. You know that handout that you get in the mail, there's a big card and it has the politician's face on it. It's shiny and that's very expensive. And most people look at it one time and throw it in the mail. I mean, throw it in the trash. All of these things cost money. And when you can't raise money to buy those things, you lose elections flat out, flat out. So the Democrats are upside down. Again, we keep telling you that they've mortgaged their headquarters. And they are, when I say financially strapped, they're financially strapped. The only people who are donating money to them right now are these DSA types and Islamists. This is the new base. So
Mhm.
we're not going to hear too much bashing of them because these are the people who are quite literally keeping the lights on. It is an unfortunate position to be in, but as a political party, you cannot not have a platform. You have to have a plan. And we talked about it again endlessly. Go back and watch our election night coverage, the November coverage, and you'll hear us say they don't have a plan. Their plan was to hate Trump, and it doesn't work. It does not work. It's falling flat. So now you have the lunatics running the asylum. You can't raise funds with regular Americans. You're doubling down on dumb. Midterms are right around the corner. And let me tell you what, the RNC's got money. And if you think you've been flooded with commercials and mailers, you've seen nothing yet. You have
Speaking of that, that
yet.
takes us to the next topic. Let's talk about the money that the RNC has. So I want to be fully transparent. I'm still nervous about the midterms. Okay, I'm still nervous, but over the last couple of days, I'm feeling a lot better as a Republican, as a conservative. Okay, folks. Breaking news out today. President Trump, for the first time in 60 years, has gotten prescription drug prices down the lowest it's ever been. Okay. And here is what's the gentleman's name? Oh my gosh, the guy from CNN who may be our next press secretary talking
Oh,
about it.
Scott Jennings.
Yeah, Scott Jennings.
Mhm.
In this next clip, Scott Jennings breaks this down. He's talking about, as you just mentioned, Nicole, how President Trump is about to flood congressional races with millions of dollars. He's also talking about these prescription drug prices that have fallen. Take a look here. This is clip one.
I do think Democrats have made a huge mistake with Abdul El Sayed in Michigan, but I think all these races, I think the Republicans do have good candidates, and I think the Republicans are going to have plenty of resources, and I think they've got a story to tell. Just Friday, we learned that for the first time in 60 years, prescription drug prices are falling. Every single politician, everybody here has ever worked for us said they were going to do it. Trump and the Republicans finally did it. There is a story to tell, and there is a bright line contrast to be had in this election. It's not good enough just to call them socialists. You have to say what you've done, and you have to say what the impact of their policies would be. But I think we've got enough candidate quality and talent to do that.
Wow. And he's telling the truth, folks. According to Axios, which is not a right-leaning publication, prescription drug prices just posted their steepest annual drop since 1963. Okay, the Bureau of Labor Statistics CPI data for July of this year shows prescription drugs down 3.1% year over year. All right, with no monthly increase in 2026. Medical care commodities fell 2.7%, and it just keeps falling. Nicole, you've been talking about this for a while.
Oh,
What are your
yeah.
thoughts on it, and how do you think this is going to affect the midterms?
Listen, it's if I weren't already a Trump voter, if I weren't already a conservative person, as an adult person with severe asthma, I would tell you they won my vote because my inhaler that runs about $550, $600 for one, I can get on Trump RX for $210. And let me tell you something. Then they gave me that $100 off, card. It's a wrap. I'm outside all summer. I'm breathing. I'm at the beach. I'm doing all of the things because now my life is not going to cost me $600 just to breathe. It is a tremendous boon back to my own personal budget to not have to figure out how I'm going to buy 5 inhalers because I keep one everywhere. 5 inhalers at $600 a piece just to breathe. So imagine if I was someone who didn't have resources in 4 jobs, right? Imagine if I was just like, Susie Q, single chick and had one job and needed this $600 inhaler. What would I do? I would have to make it work with the cheaper inhalers that don't work quite as well, and they're not really designed for adult people with asthma. Thank God for Trump. And it's not only inhalers, I mean, everything you can think of. Everything you can think of, there's a little bit of something on Trump RX, and it makes the difference in your bottom line. It really does. He would have absolutely won my vote in that moment.
Wow. Yeah. Shelley, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I guess I don't have the optimism that you have right now, KJ, because I too have been and I still am very concerned about the midterm elections for the Republican Party, outside our movement, if you will. Very concerned. If I sound like a Debbie Downer, oh well, I can't change that. This is just what I'm thinking. Okay, so granted, the drug prices being coming down, decreasing, good news, very good news. My angst comes from, again, Congress not codifying a lot of these, some of these things that were in the Big Beautiful Bill, or Big Beautiful Act as it's called now. So there are some things that are permanent, there are some things that are not. I still place most of the blame at the feet of Congress because they have failed to codify. Not only that, affordability, is the economy stupid, is a mainstay, and it still is a mainstay because many of these, although inflation, let me start there, although inflation has largely kept up with wages since 2010, give or take, that's fine, but there are other costs and other industries that are basically eating Americans' budgets, okay? Housing, transportation, certainly transportation, dealing with gas. When I rode by the gas station today, I saw diesel. Diesel was damn near $6. So that's just for diesel. That's not including the cost that we pay for our own gas. So our gas prices have gone up, diesel has gone up, which also means that anything we buy and purchase in America is going to have a truck related diesel cost as well. So we're paying on that way as well. And again, these are the mainstays of the average American family. Billionaires, they have discretionary income, billions of it, okay? So that's where my angst and my angst comes from. Mostly that's where they're pointed to. So I'm still very, very nervous about these midterm elections, particularly rated on economical issues.
Yeah, yeah,
You know?
you're giving some real I mean, you're giving some real perspective there, Shelley. And I'm right there with you. Again, I'm starting to get a little bit more optimistic just by some of the things that I've been reading as of late. So, as we know, the Republicans have a lot of money. Okay. And as economics is the game for the nation, money is the game when you're running in these races.
Mhm.
Okay. And they're going in well more over than what the Democrats have. So I think that's going to help. Also, this redistricting and the way that these Democrats have been running these socialists, which have been wholeheartedly rejected by not only conservatives, but also independents, which is the main group that we need to move. Okay. Nobody wants these socialists in office. And it looks like the Democrats are running really bad candidates. They're just running bad candidates in many of these toss-up states. So, that's a good thing that I'm seeing. Also, on the economic front a little bit, Scott Bassett, I'm starting, I was a little upset about this Iran thing, what's
Mhm.
going on over there, but the news that Scott Bassett has just put down about these economic holdings,
Sanctions.
right,
Mhm.
over sanctions that they're about to put forward. He's been pretty good with the administration. He's been one that when he says he's going to get something done, it
Mhm.
gets done. And it hasn't been, they've been going about this Iranian thing with the military, with everything else. Now he said, let me step in here and get this and stick it to him on the money side. So I'm kind of starting to get a little bit better with this. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a helpless romantic when it comes to this stuff. What are your thoughts there, Nicole?
Listen, I hear you both very much. Secretary Bessent is a tremendous Treasury Secretary. You should know that he's always had his gun loaded, so to speak. He's always been ready to go in and slap some sanctions with some teeth on. But I think the president has been more than compassionate, because those kind of sanctions really don't harm initially the military or their leaders. It harms the regular person. And that was the goal, not to do any further harm to the Iranian people. But at this point, their government has kind of brought it on themselves. And the guy to put the screws to you is Scott Bessent, because you can cry uncle all you want to. He's going to keep bringing you down until you on your knees. It's just who he is as a human being. A very nice man, very, very nice man, very friendly, but very good at his job. Very good at his job. But I think what you're going to see as we get closer to the elections, like Love Us, Love Our Dog said in the chat, you're going to see these gas prices come down. There's some things that the administration can do to force these gas prices to come down just in time for the midterms. All presidents have done that, just to make it people go, oh, yeah, great. My bigger concern, though, for my own community, for those of us who live in rural areas, is home heating fuel. Home heating fuel for people who live in rural areas, especially senior citizens and the elderly, as we get to the colder months, where it's going to cost $1,300, $1,400 to fill up your oil tank, and you'll blow through that inside of a month, maybe 6 weeks. That is really where my heart bleeds, and trying to figure out how we can best help these people to stay warm, so that they're not sitting in their houses, with electric blankets trying to keep warm during the wintertime, is a high priority for most people who live in rural areas when the prices are high. So I will absolutely be pleading that case to anybody with ears to make sure that home heating fuel is at a purchase price where even people who are living on a fixed income can afford to be warm this coming winter season.
Absolutely.
Can I say something real quick? I just want to close out real quick. One of the things, again, maybe this is my naivete, okay? I understand that the administrations, whichever administration, they can do, tweak and find things to do before midterms. What I want as an American and for the American people, I want stability, okay? I don't want these little political, yo-yos playing with people's everyday lives. That's what I want. And this is my main, I would say this is the essence of my blame towards the Republican Party right now, because in my never to be humble opinion, yes, there has been some good, thankfully for President Trump, urging and pushing and prodding. But our Congress, these are the people who are elected to longer terms for the most part, right? And they have more direct, say and influence over the constituents. So the American people want stability. And not only do we want it, we demand it, we are owed it, okay? Stop with these little tweakings for your own political gain. I don't care which party does it. I'm sick of that. And I think many Americans are. I'm not the designated spokesperson, but I would suspect that I am saying and thinking and feeling what millions of Americans are feeling. We don't want this tweaking for the election and tweaking, and then when it goes away, when election's over, or we go back to, no, we want stability. We want codified tax breaks as President Trump put in that big, beautiful act or that bill, whatever. This is what we want. We want our elections safe. We're sick of this playing with our everyday lives. We're the ones who go out, and we're the ones, the middle class, if you will, by and large, we're the ones who pay the taxes. I'm not saying billionaires don't. That's not what I'm saying. But for our direct impact, we're the ones who are doing it daily. We're the ones who are eating the cost and doling out the cost as well. We're sick of that. I don't care which party. And if my charge to the Republican Party is, if you are the conservative side, the right, the libertarian, whatever, then damn it, do it. Do it because it's the right thing to do, not the politically expedient thing to do.
Agreed.
Folks, sound off in the chat. Let us know what you think. This is a big election coming up. I mean, huge. I think this is going to be monumental as far as whether or not President Trump actually stays in office. Because if the Democrats win both houses, then they are going to move to impeach him. And much more, much more. They're talking about packing the courts. They're talking about changing the Senate. My gosh. So a lot of changes are up for grabs here, depending on who stays in power or who comes into power. Are you still standing with the GOP, or are you wavering? Let us know in the chat. Just comment. I'm still standing with them, or I'm wavering at this point. I'm curious to know what you all think. We have some super chats here, Shelly. Is that right?
All right, thank you for our super chatters who are our mainstay as well. Thank you. We have Mr. Jillies. Thank you for your $10. Thank you, ladies, watching from the big island of Hawaii. And thank you, Shelly E, for keeping it real. The videos you played. Black Teen Fatigue. I feel the same way you feel. Oh my gosh, yes. Thank you so much, Mr. Jilly, out there in Hawaii. Faith in You. Thank you for your $5. It's Hot Shoulder Wednesday. Love you, ladies. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Gloria. Hi, Gloria. Haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for your $20.
Yes.
Keep it going, ladies. God bless. Thank you, Gloria, and right back at you. Thank you all out there in Super Chat land, our mainstay, our mods, our chatters. We see your comments. We love them. Don't forget, we need some lipstick, okay? Look at the crawl of our page right there, and you can send us a cash app for some lipstick. Thank you so much for your support. We appreciate it.
We certainly do. Certainly do. All right. So, speaking of the GOP and conservatives, got to talk about my main man, Ron DeSantis. All right. He is still on fire for Florida. Okay. Ron DeSantis just went full base, folks. He's always been based. He's really based today. All right. He is moving to ban EBT and TANF taxpayer funds from paying for it. Take a look. This is clip 5.
To announce that Florida will be the first state in the nation to restrict temporary cash assistance benefits from being used for inappropriate and non-essential purchases. For example, no tobacco and vaping products with EBT cards and TANF grants, no drugs or intoxicants with EBT cards and TANF grants, no adult material. You can get adult material in the gas station. No video games, entertainment tickets, theme park subscriptions, no tattoos, no tanning beds, other, more luxury services, no fortune telling services. And so, this is just, I don't know why some of this is happening. Now, obviously, some of these cards are just people don't need it and it's fraud, right? I mean, they're milking the system. They're not really needy. They're scam artists, and so they're using it to do some of this other stuff. But I do think that if somebody really is needy, we just want to make sure that that money is going to the things that are going to help that individual and if the dependents and help the dependents.
I mean, makes sense to me. This should be procedural. This should be part of the program all over the country. Shelly, what are your thoughts?
Bring it on, Ron. Bring it on, okay? All of the fortune telling, lottery tickets, vaping, whatever. I don't have a problem with you paying your own money if you want to do those things. As old people used to say, when you get grown, you got grown money, buy what you want, spend it how you want. But when it's our money, when someone else is feeding you, feeding your children, day in and day out, even supplying you housing, then no, you don't get to spend other people's money the way that you want. What you earn, you can spend. What you earn, you can blow it. As far as I'm concerned, you can burn it in the damn trash can if you want. However, Ron, bring it on. TANF, SNAP, all these goodies at these whatever gas stations, things like that. Go in if you need to use your card. Buy some food because you're hungry there. That's it. Edible things, not junk. Not junk, edible things. Maybe you're driving a long trip. But my question is, if you're on EBT and your whole bill pretty much is covered by the government, what the hell are you driving? Where you get a car from?
Well, from the TANF money, right? This is what he's talking about. This temporary aid to needy families, right? It replaced the AFDC. That AFDC was aid to family with dependent children. Now, this TANF money is a whole different thing, and it's a block grant from the federal government to the states. The states are, according to the statute, supposed to use this money to build better homes, to encourage marriage. Hear that? Self-sufficiency, right? And prevent single young pregnancies, right? It's supposed to be a culture changer, not doubling down on, hood culture. You should not be able to use your TANF money to get high, to be drunken, whether that's through substances or through alcohol. You certainly should not be spending your TANF money on tattoos. Come on, you guys. The states are responsible for this. And this is probably one of the biggest bipartisan issues that you'll hear me speak out on, because both sides of the aisle have been lackluster in managing this particular block grant program. States have been running amok. People get this money and it's wink, wink, nod, nod. You're going to do the right thing with it, right? No, she's going to go out and get the killer, coffin nails, go get her blonde hair installed, go get a tattoo, a nose ring, and some other things. Meanwhile, she hasn't done anything to change her circumstances. Not one, he or she, because there are plenty of men who get TANF, have not done anything to change their circumstances. They're not saving for, a down payment. They're not saving for market rate rent. They're not doing any of that. They're using this money to, quote unquote, live their best life. What they don't understand, they're just doubling down on dependency.
Yeah.
Uncle Sam has become your baby daddy and you love him, but he, as Delano Squire says, he's a terrible baby daddy because he got more women than you know what to do with. Horrible baby daddy if it's Uncle Sam. We've got to do better. And the federal government has got to start holding these states accountable for the misuse of this block grant. If they're not going to do the right thing, take it back. We want our money back. Give it back to the taxpayer. I can donate. Like I was talking about a few minutes ago, the seniors who can't keep their home heating fuel on. Yeah, I'd rather them have the money than buy another 20-year-old a face tattoo and a nose ring. Come on now. If I could do better with my money than the federal government can, give me back my money and let me show you what I can do in my own community before you continue to waste it. TANF is an absolute nightmare.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. And I'll go even a step further. I don't even want people to be allowed to buy cigarettes with this stuff. Mm-mm. All right. I remember as a young girl, I hated having to drive my mom to get cigarettes. She smoked the entire time of my childhood. She eventually stopped smoking once I became an adult, but she did smoke the entire time while I was a child. And I used to throw away her cigarettes, I would pick them up, throw them away. And then as I got older, I could drive and everything. She would ask me, "Can you drive me to get some cigarettes? Get me some cigarettes?" And I hated it. I hated the smell of cigarettes, everything. Now, she was not on food stamps or anything, but she was buying them with her hard-earned money. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want that, her money going towards it. So why do our tax-paid money have to go towards these people buying their cigarettes? Yeah. Use your own money. Exactly. That money is supposed to go for the needy. It's supposed to go for food, toiletries, toilet paper and stuff. I agree with that. Not cigarettes, not alcohol, not entertainment. I can't even afford to go to some of these shows. What theme park tickets? You know how much theme park tickets cost these days? I can't even go to all the theme parks I want to go to. I've only been to Disney once, and I was an adult. So this is ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and it needs to stop. And it's common sense.
Agreed. Yep. I was an adult too when I went to Disney World, and I didn't like it myself. I like the parade at night. But one of the problems is, why, to your question, KJ, why do we have to pay for this? Because that temporary program that Nicole mentioned at TANF is now a permanent. That's what it is. It's permanent assistance for so-called needy families. And we are constantly replacing the budget that is being blown to support many of these people who don't need them. So that's why it's become permanent, just not in name.
Right. You're absolutely
right. People are only supposed to be allowed to be on it for 60 months. right?
Yeah,
That's
right.
supposed to be the cap. People have
Exactly.
been on this thing for a generation,
Exactly.
because there are no teeth. What happens, when states misuse the money? Which party is going to be the party that's probably going to lose some congressional seats? I'm going to be honest with you, because folks is going to be mad at you, but you're doing the right thing for the rest of the nation. At some point, taxpayers are going to get to the point where we're not going to want to pay for food for the needy and clothes for the needy, because they're not spending it on clothes and food. They're spending it on looking like they're not poor, which is crazy to me, because you're putting window dressing over top of a monster. I mean, if you're living well below the poverty line, do you really need coffin nails and monster eyelashes? Do you really need a face tattoo? I mean, in the
Yep.
grand
So,
scheme of things, is that what vape? You
well,
got a vape in every flavor, like your own personal 7-Eleven. What the hell are
Killing
you
you.
doing? Then
And
you're
yep.
it's
going
killing
home.
you.
You're
Yep.
going home, and you've got, oh, we're going to eat great this week. Well, what about the other 3 weeks of the month when you're scraping by and everybody's eating noodles? I mean, it just makes me crazy. It makes me crazy the way they waste our money. I'd like to have our money back.
I want to
I'd
know,
like
but
to have
let's see
all of
what
our
our
money
super
back.
chatters might have to say. Hopefully, I'm sure they're saying the same things we are, but let's see. Let's hear right from their voices. Josh, hi Josh, thank you for your
Hey,
20 bucks.
Josh.
I agree with all of you on various things. I feel nervous about the midterms, but I'm starting to see gas prices come down and
Hmm.
prescriptions have also come down. So let's stay on that positive economic message. Okay, Josh, from
Absolutely.
your mouth to my ears, maybe. We'll see. Thank you, Kung Fu CJ. I don't vote Democrat. Y'all got the chat fired up. We love you. Well, keep
Woo.
the
See?
fires going. Three
Yes.
equals one. Thank you for your $2. You better
Thank
thank a Florida governor. All
you.
right,
All right.
Governor
You better
DeSantis,
thank
and
the
soon,
Florida gun.
that's right, and soon to be Governor Byron Donalds. Thank you,
Mhm.
Paul. Thank you, Paul, for your $10.
Hey, Paul.
Supporting my favorite podcast. Oh, thank you, Paul. You're
Thank you,
so
Paul. That's
sweet.
so nice.
Kung Fu CJ again. Thank you. He says, KJ, you did what? I see teeth. Like, okay. Okay. Kung Fu CJ says, preach, Nicole. I agree. Yes. Thank you so
Hmm.
much. All right. I thought we had one more, but maybe we don't. All right. We'll get to you next time. Thank you so much for your
Oh, there goes one. Three
Oh, I'm
equals
sorry.
one.
Three equals one says, "Give me my money back." Thank you. There
Hmm.
you go. Three equals
Right.
one says, "Give me my money back." So thank you all for your super chats. Thank you always, always, always. Keep the chats coming, and don't forget we need some lipstick. Don't forget that
Absolutely.
our crawl at the bottom. Thank you for your support, everybody.
Absolutely. And staying on Governor DeSantis, he really made some more comments recently, and he's talking about flock cameras. All right, they
Hmm.
have been very controversial lately, and this is another bipartisan issue. We've got people on the left and right who have been sounding the alarm on flock cameras. Take a
Hmm.
look at what he's had to say. Curious to get your lady's opinion on this. Um, Here he is.
Cameras, the license plate readers, I think it's out of control. And this is something that in Florida, our highway patrol, we have readers for like tolling by plate and things like that. Now, I've never supported the automatic tickets being sent if you're speeding. I think
Hmm.
a human being has to do that, and so I've never embraced that. But and so this was something that was kind of out there in that vein. And then with this whole flock situation, it's now being used not for tolling by plate or things like that, but for actual criminal surveillance. And so these are done by police departments and sheriff's departments by and large. I've asked for an overview of what's going on in state agencies. There are some, but it's a lot smaller than what we have at the local level. And so I'm all about having law enforcement have tools to be able to hold criminals accountable. I think that's important that we do that. And no one's been stronger on law enforcement than me. But I don't want to have this become a surveillance state. I don't want there to be a situation. And that's why we wanted an AI Bill of Rights. Remember, we were pushing for that
Hmm.
because the flock is artificial intelligence. So whether it's online with digital surveillance or whether it's with cameras, at what point are we just going to be free to be not have to deal with any of that? And so I think it needs to be overhauled for sure. I know New Hampshire did something that really kept it. It's interesting. They put something in a bill about using them on state, so the sheriffs and the police can use it on state right-of-ways. And I asked Jared, I said, well, is the state involved? State doesn't get any of the information or anything. It's just like they're doing it. So we don't even really know, like the police department or whatever. And when I see like a police officer using this to track like an ex-girlfriend, I'm like, what the hell's going on, with this? So I think this has happened very quickly. I think people are right to be concerned.
All right. So let's break this down, ladies. Very interesting comments he made about these flock cameras. So for you all, because I'm just learning what these flock cameras are just recently, they're actually becoming more and more in the news just of late. So they sit on poles alongside roads in neighborhood entrances, parking lots, and businesses. So when a vehicle passes, they snap 6 to 12 still images, and then AI converts that into searchable data with their plates, numbers, their state, make, model, color. And they do not use facial recognition. That's per the Flock company's information. That's why it's called Flock, because Flock is the Atlanta-based company that provides these cameras. And that's what it's called, Flock cameras. All right. But it's mostly been on the left talking about this. They have been vehemently against flock cameras because they believe it grows the police state. But on the conservative side, there have been is an argument that it helps to prevent crime and to stop crime. So it helps to get people who are have done crime in these areas, such as assaults, the R word that rhymes with grape, and all sorts of things. So what are your thoughts on this, Shelley? Have you heard about these flock cameras, and what are your thoughts on it?
Yes, I have heard about them. About a month or so ago, I started hearing about them, kind of looking into them just a little bit here and there. But they are proliferating, number one. Number two, my answer to them right now is to quote Benjamin Franklin: those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety. That's my overarching focus, is that I'm likening it to the Patriot Act. After 9/11, of course, there was this national, fear, anxiety. Of course, we were in mourning, if you will, over the loss of almost 3,000 lives in one fell swoop. But we rushed, I think, to the Patriot Act. We gave away our liberties under the guise of safety. What did that get us? Yes, thankfully, we have not had those major terrorist attacks since then, but we've also given up a lot of our liberty along the way. So these flock cameras, they are, again, police departments and agencies are using them throughout the country. They have some here in Maryland. I've seen them on 495, certainly. And they're using them more and more. When you are charged, as Governor DeSantis was alluding to, basically when you have cameras that are writing tickets for you, you have no privacy, because they're snapping 1 billion plus images here in Maryland alone just last year. 1 billion plus images just snapping. Your privacy is gone. You are an American citizen, and I know there are people out there in chat land who are saying, well, if you weren't doing anything wrong, you have anything to worry about. No, that's kind of the reverse of what our Constitution is, okay? That's the reverse of our Constitution. There's a thing called due process, the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, unreasonable search and seizures. These are our constitutional rights. Criminals, yes, there's a place for that, but to basically throw in all Americans, because they're coming to a city near you, to make all Americans essentially criminals, and then you kind of weed them out of the criminal pool. It's the reverse of the way it's supposed to be done. I'm concerned. I think we definitely need to keep this on the forefront.
All right. Nicole, what are your thoughts? Again, folks, we're talking about flock cameras. On the conservative side, there is, people are arguing, or I should say the groups are the law and order conservatism versus the limited government conservatism, and they're colliding on these flock cameras. What are your thoughts, Nicole?
There is an investigative use for this type of data. Make no mistake, because they can locate someone that they're after, someone that they've chased, that, you know, a criminal jumps into a car, and they can find that car somewhere using these flock cameras. So there is an investigative portion to that. However, here in Maryland, this very, very blue state, where conservative voices generally don't have a lot of authority or decision making processes. Do you know we have red light cameras? If you run the red light, you know, sends you a ticket. They're going to use those same cameras now, that if you're going too fast through the green light, you're going to get a ticket.
Ooh.
So imagine what they're going to do with these flock cameras. It won't be just for the investigative. It'll be for the mileage tax that, you know, is coming next legislative session, where if you drive more miles than our state legislators think that you should drive in a year, they're going to tax you, and they're going to tax you big. So people said, you know what? I'll take the Easy Pass transformer out of my car or wrap it up in some tinfoil. They won't know how far I drive. They will know. They will know how far the vehicle that's registered to you has driven. This is the reason why they sent 79,000 letters to Marylanders who've registered their cars outside of this state, a demand that they re-register their cars here in Maryland by October 1st, because they want to know who to send the bills to. DeSantis has the right idea. We need an AI Bill of Rights. How far can we use this technology where it does do the public safety piece, but still allows us to keep our God-given freedom? Freedom, I'm not willing to give up to help the police catch another person. Hire more police. Hire more police. Hire more state police. Hire somebody to sit on a corner and watch things go by. We're not going to pave over paradise to put up a parking lot, to quote Joni Mitchell. I'm not giving up my freedoms to make it easier for them to do what they do in Europe, what they do in New Zealand and Australia. The cameras are watching you everywhere. You have no expectation of privacy. They don't have the same clinging for freedom legislatively that we are supposed to have as the United States of America. So we need the AI Bill of Rights. That's going to be hard fought, because these are going to be the same people saying, well, if it's good for this type of case, why can't we use it for this type of case? But as an American, this should be frightening to you. This should be frightening, because what if you're not the person driving your car? What if somebody else is driving your car, stole your car, committed a crime, hopped in your car? Guess who they're looking for? Your vehicle, but you, because you're the person who's assigned to the vehicle. So there are a lot of pitfalls using this technology in the wrong way. I can only imagine the hell that's going to happen with flock cameras in a Democrat legislature's hands. It would be horrible for people who live in that state. Absolutely horrible.
Yeah. Well, you guys know I'm more of a law and order conservative. And so I see where people are raising the alarms about the flock cameras, but I personally think they're going to do more good than harm. I mean, when you mentioned, you know, Nicole, about being an American and having your car stolen, and you know, flock camera sees the car and takes, you know, has suspicion of you being the one who did a, you know, ran a light or something like that. Well, what if you're the one who just got assaulted in a parking lot? If you're the one who just got carjacked, you know, by people with guns? I mean, this kind of stuff comes in handy with that. Now, as far as the constitutional transgress or the constitutional prohibitions, this is in the public. So, you know, the Fourth Amendment protects people against unreasonable searches and seizures. Your license plate is on public display on your car. You have very little right in the public square. So I personally think they need to put up guardrails on it. So, and I don't think it should be a situation where these cops are using the flock cameras to hunt down girlfriends. I don't think that's right. I think they should have to have a warrant to use these flock cameras. That's number one. Number two, I think that they should this data should not be allowed to stay in the cloud or where have you for long periods of time. I think it should, you know, be on there maybe for 2 weeks, maybe for 30 days, and it has to be deleted. So again, I think there should be some guardrails put up against it, but I'm not ready to say get rid of the flock cameras, not at least at this point. But I do hear everybody's, I do understand the hesitation for them. Sound off in the chat, folks. Let us know what you think. Get rid of them. Comment with get rid of the flock cameras, or comment keep the flock cameras. Let us know what you think. We have some super chatters here, I believe.
All right, let's see.
Shelley,
Let's see what they say. Who we have? Kung Fu CJ again. You are on target tonight, on point tonight, Kung Fu. Shelly is right. You can take the state to court. Okay, thank you, Kung Fu. We have Brenda. Hi, Brenda. Thank you for your $10. We are already paying a gas tax. No way we should pay for our mileage. It is coming,
it's
Brenda.
coming.
But thank you. Yep, it's coming. It's coming. Yep, it's coming. Thank you all for your super chats. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Hit that like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell, and don't forget, because I do, but don't forget, after the show, you can go and hit that hype button right on our YouTube page and hype this video or any of our other videos as well that we've already done this week and beyond. So go ahead, get your fingers. What was the old commercial? Let your fingers do the walking.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, the yellow pages.
Yes.
All right, folks. All right, got to change gears a little bit here and talk about these crazy women supporting Lindsay Clancy. All right. I am calling this the femosphere now. These women are nuts. And it's actually scary that these are mothers out here acting this way and filming themselves doing this. Take a look here. This is clip 3.
Further on into her travels, I am completely overwhelmed trying to take care of the kids. I'm drowning every day. I feel guilty that I'm spending my family's money and not making any. I feel like I spend way too much. She wrote that, right?
Correct.
I'm terrified of Callan getting sick. He's a sick baby. A sick baby is miserable. He's sick now with a double ear infection. Clearly has a bellyache. It's miserable. I feel like the other kids are going to get him sick all winter long. She wrote that, right?
Correct.
I always feel strongly against sleep training. I feel like it's abusive to let the baby cry and not respond, but I made the decision. I did it with Cal. It is way too much crying. It's incredibly stressful. She wrote that, right?
Correct.
He's okay. He will be okay. It's not harmful in any way. The doctor said it was okay. Plenty of people sleep train their kids at that age. It's necessary as a third child, is what she wrote, right?
Correct.
I feel incredibly sad and guilty about not breastfeeding anymore. That was the one thing I could do to help his immune system, and I can tell he really doesn't like the formula. I'm very sad about this. I know at this time it's what I needed to do for my mental health. She wrote that, right?
Correct.
And then the statement started getting smaller and smaller as time went by. One occasion, it's like I'm desperate to get a mental break from taking care of everyone. My mind is trying to make something physical.
Okay, I had enough. I mean, this is disturbing. Women, mothers, are setting up phones with ring lights to film themselves screaming, sobbing in front of their children in some of these things. All because of this whole Me Too Lindsay movement. We're talking about Lindsay Clancy, folks. This is the woman on trial for the murder of her children. Say their names: Cora, Dawson, and Callan. 3 children, ages 5, I believe, 3, 5, and 8.
8 months.
8 months. 3,
Okay.
5, and 8 months. 5, 3, and 8 months.
Okay. And now these women, mostly leftists, I believe, have gone online and they are in full support of this woman. Shelley, your thoughts?
These women are not just leftists, they are miserable. They are purposeless, okay? There was, I don't know if we had the video, you're going to show it. There was one clip, or I guess a video that I saw, where a woman is saying that she's not going to date any man who thinks that Lindsay Clancy should be in jail, right? Well, you know what?
Yeah, we have that one since you brought it up here. This is clip 6.
Clip 6, I'm
New
sorry.
vetting process for if I want to date a man. First date question I'm always going to be asking him is, do you think that Lindsay Clancy should go to jail for what she did? And if that man says yes, I'm getting up and walking out right then and there. I cannot spend spend the rest of my life with someone who thinks that that woman is guilty and deserves jail.
Good. So to that, all those would-be suitors, we say yes, you don't have to deal with her. Okay, because if one of the one of the pieces of your commitment to date this woman is that your children don't die by her hands, certainly on purpose, then no, keep moving. Keep moving. Save your sperm, save your seed. Go and plant it somewhere else. I mean, hell, if that's the case, just go and water some plants literally with it, okay? Don't give it to her, or people like her. These women are, they're scary in a sense. Not only do they, of course, they give women a bad name anyway, generally speaking, but just imagine, most of them have young children, and so many of them, maybe, I'm sure some of them seem like homemakers. At least some of the videos we saw, you might think that they're homemakers, but they are literally, they're ungrateful, they're miserable, they're purposeless, and somewhere along the way, they have been told that being a mother, a wife, a homemaker is meaningless. We have to go out and do, quote unquote, what was typically a male crime. Men, generally speaking, will murder more than women. Now, women have been told, it's okay if you murder your children, whether they're in the womb or out, and no matter how old they are. These women are loony, but they're worse than loony. They are deadly.
Yeah. Nicole, before I get you in, we got to take a look at this next clip, because there may be lawsuits against these women. Attorney Alex Thomason is here on the news saying he's going to use TikToks in support of Lindsay Clancy to file motions to have these children removed from these psychotic mothers. Absolutely. Is he going too far, or is this right? Is this the best thing to do for the kids? Take a look here. This is clip 2.
Exactly. I've been doing this for 20 years, and this is the first time I've seen people who affiliate and recognize and say, this person has a psychosis, and I there should be treated special because I had the same psychosis. So I've had clients, and I have clients currently, where we are taking their messages from TikTok where they've said, hey, I have this particular delusion. It is a delusion. It is a psychosis. It is a homicidal or suicidal ideation. And we are filed motions to restrict their rights, to have the children removed, to have a forensic evaluation, a mental health evaluation. This is about children, not about parent rights. And so when it's framed the way that it's been framed by these supporters, it's framed in a way of, let's focus on me and my rights. Well, if you look at Lindsay Clancy, she had a husband who made $400,000. She had a mother, a father. She had multiple doctors. She had more help than anyone that I have had. I represent a lot of women. I've never had anyone with that much help. And so when I look at what's the defect here? Well, the defect has to do with how people are identifying with the child killer.
Yeah. Nicole, your thoughts?
He hit the nail right on the head. This court case has spun completely out of control, mostly because the defense attorney is fantastic. Let's just do that. He's tremendous. Listen, if I have to go out and kill somebody, I'm hiring him, because he's the guy that can get you off. But we have forgotten what this case is about. It's not about how the mother felt. It's about the murder, the willful and wanting murder of three children who had the right to life, who were already born. Their constitutional rights were violated by the person who was supposed to protect them from the world. Period. It's not even a question of whether or not she should go to prison. She's either going to go to prison or to a hospital for the criminally insane. She's not going to be free. Not in any way, shape, or form. So you got all these weirdo women walking around in these pink shirts. Okay, people like a bandwagon. I get it. If you've ever had what they used to call the baby blues or postpartum depression, cried a lot, or even if you were like me, I am a workaholic. So staying home with my daughter was difficult. It was difficult for me because I'm like, okay, we've watched Sailor Moon. What else are we doing? So it changes the way that you see your life as a mother, that you see your wife as a woman, as a wife, because you get to wear all of those hats. But at no point did I ever consider finding a kindredship with a confessed murderer of children. confessed. It's not a question of whether or not she did it. She's already said she's done it. And you have these women on social media pouring water on top of their infant's head, burning them with hot candle wax. The one woman set her kitchen floor on fire. What the hell is wrong with these people? This is not psychosis. This is not what this is. There's a significant difference between mental health, is something that's organic, a chemical, problem, and what we call behavioral health, where there should be harder parameters for you so that you learn to live in a civilized society. Because I'm going to tell you, if I were the father of that beautiful bouncing baby girl whose mother held her in her arms with the babies looking up at her gleefully, and she's splashing ice cold water on this baby's head, y'all have to see me in prison. I will be coming to you live from the county jail because I would have beat her within an inch of her life. Do you hear me? Where are the fathers? We say this all the time when kids are committing crime. Here are your wives, your girlfriends, your baby mamas abusing your infants. Go get your children. Go get your children, because these women, there's something wrong with them. There is something wrong with them. And Lindsay Clancy, again, is not going to be free. She's not going to be free. She's either going to criminally insane hospital, or she's going to prison. There's not going to be any point where you guys get together at the Starbucks. It's not going to ever be that. Not ever.
Yeah. I mean, imagine fathers creating this type of content. We had the whole toxic masculinity thing that the left was pushing, and calling our little boys toxic. Imagine fathers doing this crap, punching walls, smashing furniture, throwing ice at babies and stuff, and then uploading this crap. Okay. Would anybody call them empowering? No. They would be calling for these men to be locked up. They would calling them savages, saying they're toxic. This is toxic masculinity and all this kind of stuff. They would be sounding the alarm on this behavior. But now, over the last several weeks, we have been watching women out here doing the same thing all over social media, being uncontrolled, emotional, and just weird. It's weird.
It's demonic.
It really has shown me that we have a lot of women out here who are mentally insane. They have mental problems. Before I get your thoughts on this, Shelley, this is another one. Take a look at this woman as she throws ice in a bathtub. This is clip 7. Shelley, this is turning rage into content. This is what this is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's performative. It's exactly that. It's performative. Who takes the time, if you're so enraged and frustrated and postpartum depression, to set up a camera and then do all of this on camera, holding your baby, fake tears, whatever? It's performative. But what it also tells me is that, again, this may be tied to the abortion arguments that some women use. They say, oh, well, it's my body. I'm the woman. I should be able to make the decision. So that's what they're saying, even long after the birth of the child. They don't want the men to have a say. If a man did this, no less said something like, no, this is wrong. Oh, you can't tell me what to do. This is my body. So it goes along that twisted, weird thinking, if you will, or wicked thinking, if you want to call it that. But this is performative. And with the proliferation of social media, we're going to see more and more of these people out and about, so to speak, okay, going around the world in less than 30 seconds. I mean, going around the world millions of times in less than 30 seconds. So not only are these people lunatics and crazy, they are deadly. Because that lawyer, I think that lawyer has a, if you want to call it a niche, if you will, a nuance case or possible case. Because if any of those women went to, let's say, an emergency room or in the doctor's office, and they made the statements that they are making about, they agree with hurting their children or murdering their children, no less, they would have, the medical personnel are mandated to report it immediately. So this is why I think that lawyer has probably a good angle, if you will. Anybody in a position of care and caring custody, this is what they call caring custody. Teachers, even attorneys, in a sense, if you're in their presence, they are certainly medical people. You are legally, not just morally, not just ethically, you are legally bound to make a notification to the police and or CPS immediately. So that's why I think that lawyer, he probably has a good, I'll say a good angle to file these cases.
And the key word there that Shelley just gave is immediate. So let's say, for example, the example that Shelley gave, that this woman, let's say the ICE woman, who, by the way, chose a matching outfit, flat ironed her hair, put on a full face of makeup, and got her beautiful glass bowl full of designer ice to throw in her scrupulously clean bathroom. That's the kind of depression that most women hope for. Do you know what I mean? Let's do that. Let's do that. Performative. But let's say, straight hair Sally came in and she had the baby with her, and she's making all these crazy comments. You need to know straight hair Sally is not leaving with that child. She's not. She's not. I'm going to give her some hydration, and then I'm calling CPS, I'm calling the police, I'm calling social work. All of those people are coming to see her. And if she wants to say, well, I'm going to sign myself out AMA, you may, but you're not leaving with that child. You are not leaving with that baby. When we say mandatory reporter, they will lock your ass up for not reporting. So the onus is on the community standard. And this is, I'm not big on social media putting up roadblocks for content. However, when I saw the woman with the candle wax and the baby, that goes against community standards. I can't say, the R word, right? We get dinged for saying that, but you can burn a baby with hot candle wax. What are we doing?
I think that was the story where the woman was, she was actually illegal. She was an illegal alien, I believe.
She's a mother of a child. She could be from the planet Mars. Makes me no difference. There has to be some community standard, and the line should be drawn at the assault of children. People say, oh, it's just child abuse. We have to stop saying just child abuse, because it makes you think that somebody grabbed her by the shoulders and shook her. Hot candle wax on an infant. Who got this thing pregnant? Who is the father of that child? Whoever you are, I got money on your bail, bro. Money on your bail, because I'm telling you, it would have taken all kind of people to pull me off of her. These are innocent children, and these women are doing it for clicks. Again, I'm not saying that all depressed women look like, they've been put in a washing machine and hung out to dry, but most depressed people have a hard time getting dressed. They most assuredly don't apply eyelashes. They don't do that. They don't flat iron hair. They don't match an outfit. They don't have mood lighting. They don't set up a camera. Most depressed people don't have that much energy to do that. Some of this is just for the clicks. It's just to be talked about. The woman who set her kitchen floor on fire while she stood in her bikini underwear dancing to music. Are you kidding me? Ridiculous.
Well, what we're seeing, and I think 3=1 post, this is what I was going to talk about. It's the victimhood. It's toxic victimhood. We have gotten into a society or a time where it pays to be a victim. We've been talking about this for a long time. The whole victimhood, oppressed, blaming other people for privilege and all of that. That has now become a commodity. It pays to be a victim. That's why we're seeing an uptick in the race hoax crimes and things like this. Has become, an unhealthy subculture. And now we're seeing this whole motherhood thing. And most of these are leftist white women, um, who I guess don't have enough time on their hands. And but they're the same ones that fell for the whole black people are oppressed and white people are the oppressor. These are the ones who during COVID were paying thousands of dollars for a black woman to come in and tell them they have white guilt. Remember that? they were having these white guilt dinners. These are the same moms that are out here with the Me Too Lindsay movement. Okay? Those are the ones, folks. And they're nuts. They're crazy. And I don't know where it came from. I don't know. What do you think, Shelley? Where does this come from? Where does this white victimhood, this white guilt, the victimhood-ology, I'm calling it, where does this come from?
Tale is
Marxism.
I mean, yeah, Marxism in general, but tale as old as time. Okay, let me say this. Everything, or 99% of the things, okay, I'm not going to say 100%. 99% of things have been twisted upside down, okay? Now, there are people who have been and maybe are today still oppressed. And I'm talking about legitimately, okay? But these people that you're talking about, these white leftist women and the people like them, they are vicariously attaching to the oppression narrative. Okay, they're not helping people who have legitimate rights. Let's say, I'm just going to use Ayan Hirsi Ali. Okay, she's not oppressed anymore. A legitimate woman who was legitimately oppressed. Okay, these people didn't go help her. Okay, she literally escaped from her oppression, and thankfully she's an American now doing great work. But these leftist loonies, deadly people, particularly these women and the people who latch onto them, they are vicariously attaching to the narrative. You know why? Because it requires nothing of them. They still don't have to sacrifice anything. They don't have to literally go out and maybe help someone who's legitimately oppressed. They don't have to leave their little comfort zones and white picket fences and all the nannies and whatever. They don't have to leave 1 inch of that. They get to turn on a camera and perform for it as if they are victims, and they attach with these narratives. They just want attention, but they want attention in the worst way because they have young children who are their dependents, and they are deadly. So these are deadly women by and large. They are deadly, scary people. I am like you, Nicole. I am government taking your children, stepping in, last resort. But when it comes to children who are in harm's way and after their parents, their moms no less, are on social media saying that they're going to do these things, or they identify with their children being murdered and whatever, harming them. Yes, I am all for the children being taken away. Yes.
And another thing, when you brought up with the motherhood thing, that's another characteristic of this genre, of this what do you call it, culture right now. And they're being trained to believe that motherhood is something to resent. It's something that's part of the victimhood, part of this. And we're seeing this all over the left, how motherhood is, something that's a burden. The left calls babies parasites. Okay, this whole thing is all, coming together. Now, yes, motherhood is exhausting. Babies cry, toddlers, run out your energy and all kinds of stuff. Pregnancy can ruin your body. We all know that. But this is, as you mentioned, Shelley, has been something that has been happening from the beginning of time. It's something that was always a part of life, a part of the journey. Okay. And you go through that and you come out on the other side. It was not a burden. It was not seen as something that was, terrible and sucking the life out of you. But now we're seeing on the left them portraying this way, and they're pushing this sentiment onto the young people and into the mainstream culture.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what's so crazy about it, KJ, is it's designed to be difficult, right? Because you're not the same You're not the same as the woman who got pregnant. You're not the same as the woman who laid on that table and squealed like a pig. Right. You're not the same person, because all of those experiences are designed to sharpen you, to train you, to bring you closer to this child. The first time your baby cries, it does something to you. It kind of makes your soul vibrate in your body, and you feel this oneness, this kindredness with this other being. That is step one of motherhood. But so is getting hit in the face with a remote control by a 2-year-old who wants more crackers. Chop that up.
And it's a physical. You're changed physically. Your
Absolutely.
nipples are hard and they milk. You literally can hear the baby cry, and your nipples will begin to drip.
And there's some beautiful things that come with it. Even today, you can watch a video of a toddler laughing, or be in the room with a toddler who laughs, and it just does something to you. There's a joy that comes with it. But motherhood and fatherhood are designed to make the parents grow up. It makes you a better human being. So here you have these people who farm out the motherhood. They don't know what a woman is. They think that men can have babies. Let's do that. And they call mothers birthing people, chest feeders, all of these things to kind of tear away at the godliness, to tear away at the divinity of being a mother. There's something, that triangle of the woman, the God, and the baby, that triangle that carries you through those rough times, that carries you through the times when the baby has the croup, when the baby, is just up at night singing for whatever reason. I mean, kids go through whatever kids go through, and you either laugh at it or you cry along with them. But you get through that, you get over it, and you build this muscle that comes in handy when they're teenagers and they're trying your patience, because you've lived through the toddler years, so you're built for the teenage years. There's so much to being a parent that's more than reading books and buying fancy clothes for your kids. So much more to that. And you benefit as the adult in the room. You benefit. It changes who you are fundamentally. So when I see these videos, and I report them because you listen, I ain't got it to do. It makes me angry, viscerally angry to the point where I need to turn it off and walk away, get on my knees and pray for them. And then I immediately report them, because children deserve better. And you're doing this for clicks, like, and a TikTok check is not good enough answer for me for ruining this child's life, for ruining this child's childhood, because eventually this child's going to be a kid with a version of TikTok. And when they run your name through and come up with the video of you burning them with hot wax as a toddler, as a small child, what are you going to say to that child? Terrible. What are you going to say?
It is. Folks, sound off in the chat. Let us know what you think about this insane phenomenon. We want to hear from you all. We have some super chats, Shelly. Is that right?
We have some supers here. Yes. Hi, everybody. Again, let's see who we have. Gimpy. Hi, Gimpy. Dad, thank you for your $5. A lot is wrong with these people, Nicole. Yes. Thank you, Gimpy. The voice of reason, thank you for your $10. Shelly, you are 100% correct. It is a very weird statistic. Men unalive more people, but even outside of abortion, women still unalive their living children more, and it is far more. Yep, thank you for the voice of reason. Karen, thank you, Karen. Thank you for your $5. I think it is a form of psychosis. I'm afraid there will be copycat unalive. Y'all gotta kill me with these social media words. There will be copycat unalivings, okay? Only for attention seeking. It's demonic. Yes,
Absolutely.
Thank you, Karen. Is that Danielle or Daniel? Thank you for your $10. Rules for Radicals by Saul Alinsky. I'm reading it now.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good one. Thank you. And Shantia, thank you, Shantia. Thank you for your $10. If postpartum depression is that bad, update family court law and give custody to the fathers.
Or the grandparents. Somebody that can love these kids.
3 equals 1. Thank you for your $5. Democrats celebrate victimhood while tearing down a woman's God-given purpose. Think of those struggling with infertility and don't have nannies. I mean, most people don't have nannies. I mean, most mothers don't have nannies, but you're right, 3 equals 1. And I want to give a shout out to my buddy in the chat. He said hi to me early. Hi, Bernie. Thank you for stopping by tonight. I hope you get this, get my little shout out to you. But you're right. This is, I came across this real this one stat real quick, and I thought it was very pertinent to this. This was a Pew analysis of government data, said that since 2002, at that time, the 94% of women in their 20s said they wanted to have at least one child. Fast forward to 2023, only 66% of them. So that was a 27 percentage point decline in 10 years, about a decade. There's other data, other polls, other databases that will show you some of the same trajectory, the trend basically, depending on whether or not they want to have kids. And then there's a question about how many they want. But generally speaking, the trajectory has been a decline of women even wanting kids. We have been given the lie that children are a burden. I mean, they do drain you, don't get me wrong, but you know what I mean, that they are a burden. Having a child used to be one of the top, 5 or 10 things any girl wanted. If you asked when they were, like, say, elementary school, what do you want to be? I want to be a teacher. I want to be a mother. I want to be a wife. Things like that. Now you might not find that. You might not even find most young people thinking like that.
Yeah.
You know what though, Shelly? After today, and seeing all these Lindsay Clancy videos, I'm not concerned about these women who don't want to have children. You don't have the capacity. Do not. Don't.
I agree with you there. If you don't want them, don't have them. I say that all the time. Yep.
All right. Folks, sound off in the chat. Let us know what you think. Folks, we've actually been talking about this Lindsay Clancy case on our true crime channel. We also have another YouTube channel called The Right Verdict. All right. We'll be on live right tomorrow, Nicole.
Yes, we'll be on live tomorrow, and we will catch you up on the Lindsay Clancy case. Isn't there something going on with Nolan Wells too that happened? I think that just came out.
I believe so. Yeah, it's
an update on some of the hotter cases, and I'm not sure. Shelly may have a surprise or two up her sleeve. Shelly, y'all don't know this about Shelly, but Shelly is full of surprises. I know she seems rock solid, right as rain, and she is. But every now and again, Shelly just pops up with something fantastic. And you're like, you know what? I know you had that in you. I knew you had it in you. So it's going to be a terrific show. And I'm going to do my personal best not to lose my shit talking about Lindsay Clancy. I'm just going to say, lock her ass up. That's what I'm going to say. Somebody should get behind her in that little chair and push that chair into a room and somewhere in the corner and put her on a permanent timeout. Yes, indeed. Lock her up. In all the pink shirts, you can come and discuss tomorrow. You can get in the chat with all of our jurors. Happy to see you, pink shirts, because you too need to learn a lesson about what it means to be a human being when 3 children have been slaughtered by their mother's hand.
Yeah. Definitely check us out tomorrow night. Also, tomorrow night at 9 p.m., you can check out Michelle and I on Christian Conservative, folks. If you haven't done so, please go over there and subscribe. We talked about this Lindsay Clancy case, and the video is still up from a biblical perspective. So we went through it, and Michelle was on fire. All right, she was on fire on this case, folks. And so definitely, she's a mom of 6. Okay. And so it really kind of hit her. This was really hit home for her. And so definitely going over and check out at KJ Christian Conservative, where we talk about news and pop culture from a biblical perspective. Folks, we just hit 24,000 subscribers. We want to thank everybody for your support, for rocking with us on Christian Conservative. Road to 50,000. We're the little sister of pop and politics. All right. But definitely it's sort of, this channel is more like a labor of love for me. I wanted to get in there and provide some type of biblical perspective on these issues, and we really dig deep on that. So again, KJ Christian Conservative, if you haven't done so already, at 9 p.m. and then come at 10 for The Right Verdict. All right. So we just got finished talking about privilege, okay, about victimhood. This is what, a lot of the left tries to push on us these days. But one woman that rejected all of that is Dolly Parton. Folks, we got to commemorate Dolly Parton. She passed away yesterday at the age of 80. All right. She passed at her Vanderbilt Ingram Cancer Center in Nashville after a brief battle with cancer. She was surrounded by family. She did not make the diagnosis public, but she was admitted on Friday. Her nephew, Brian Seaver, announced it on her Instagram, and her team has confirmed the cause later. Take a look at this interview of quintessential Dolly Parton. This is clip 8.
President of the United States who said those things.
Dolly, where I come from, would I have called you a hillbilly?
If you had of, it would have been something very natural, but I would have probably kicked your shins or something. No, actually.
But when I think of hillbillies, am I thinking of your kind of people?
I think you probably are. The people that grew up where I was were the ones that you would consider the little Abner people, Daisy May and that sort of thing. They took that kind of thing from people like us, but we were very proud people, people with a lot of class. It was country class, but it was a great deal of class, and most of my people were not that educated, but they are very, very intelligent, good common sense, horse sense we called it.
Dolly, did you look like this when you were a kid?
Not quite.
I mean, you didn't have the blonde wig, but when you went into school, when you were 11, 12, 13, was it this about you?
Well, you mean the full figure?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, I thought that's what you meant. Well, actually, I've always been pretty well blessed. As a child, I grew up fast. Other members of my family, have done the same.
My assistant asked me something, and I'm going to blame it on her because I wouldn't have had the nerve otherwise. Is it all you?
Well, I can't show you here right on television.
I'll take your word for it.
I get asked that question. I always answer that because people are in awe of the whole thing. A lot of people say I have. A lot of people say I haven't. I always say that if I hadn't have had it on my own, I'm just the kind of person that would have had me some maid.
You don't have to look like this. You're very beautiful. You don't have to wear the blonde wigs. You don't have to wear the extreme clothes, right?
No, it's certainly a choice. I don't like to be like everybody else. I've often made this statement that I would never stoop so low as to be fashionable. That's the easiest thing in the world to do. So I just decided that I would do something that would at least get the attention. Once they got past the shock of the ridiculous way I looked and all that, then they would see there was parts of me to be appreciated. I'm very real where it counts, and that's inside, and as far as my outlook on life and the way I care about people and the way I care about myself and the things that I care about. But I just chose to do this, and show business is a money-making joke, and I've just always liked telling jokes.
But do you ever feel that you're a joke, that people make fun of you?
Oh, I know they make fun of me. But actually, all these years, the people, has thought the joke was on me, but it's actually been on the public. I know exactly what I'm doing, and I can change it at any time. I make more jokes about myself than anybody, because I enjoy it. I know, like I say, I am sure of myself as a person. I'm sure of my talent. And to me, and I'm sure of my love and for life and that sort of thing. I'm very content. I like the kind of person that I am. So I can afford to piddle around and diddle around with makeups and clothes and stuff because I am secure with myself.
Listen, tell me about this marriage of yours, this man whom nobody ever seems to see. We heard that he was here. We heard that he was in town, but none of us have seen him. Paul Dean, you don't see him very much. You're on the road most of the time. You've said, I know that this marriage will always last. This man gives me everything I need. How do you know?
Well, I need freedom. The man gives me freedom.
So why get married?
Well, why not?
Why? I mean, if what you want most is freedom, why have a husband tucked away someplace to see 6 weeks a year?
But he has the same freedom. See, the thing of it is, you don't find a person that you can be happy with and that can accept you the way you are and can share the things and to plan for the future and to enjoy your home. We have our foundation, we have our roots, we have all the things that everybody's looking for, and that's happiness in a marriage. I've got better things to do than to sit around in my room thinking, oh, what's Carl doing tonight? I wonder if he's with somebody and this and that.
There she was. Tough questions. Some people may say those questions were, kind of inappropriate maybe, but she answered them with class, dignity, and just plain old Dolly Parton. Shelley, what are your thoughts?
I have a test. One of my tests. If you don't love Dolly Parton, something's wrong with you. Okay, not
Mm-hmm.
her, you. Like she said, Dolly loved her self-deprecating humor. She was a secure. She was charitable. She was kind. Big, of course, big. As little as she was this big personality. They don't make them like that anymore. Didn't matter your politics, where you came from. She knew her roots. She just had a heart for people, her family, her friends, her fans, and I mean, greatly missed. I like the way, real quick, yesterday on Instagram, I think his name is Cruz. I think it is Cruz. He was saying, "Oh Lord, what did you do? You had one job to do today. You took Dolly." I think millions of Americans are feeling that way today.
Yeah. Nicole, your thoughts?
You know, one of the most endearing things about Dolly was that she was absolutely real. She was like your mother, your aunt, your cousin. I mean, she was an everyday American woman. And having her sit across from the very sophisticated Barbara Walters with, the blowout and the gold pin on her red blouse and the full face of makeup, having all of that manufactured sophistication sit across from a red-blooded American woman, and Dolly outshined her every single time that camera got on Dolly Parton. There's something so genuine about her. Not just the way that she came across, but actually genuine, because that wasn't for the camera. It's really who she was, really and truly who she was. There is a younger country artist. His name is Trey Taylor. We just hosted him a couple of months ago here in Wacomico County for a fundraiser. She actually plucked him out of obscurity and put him on his path to superstardom. And he's a mixed race kid who loved country music. She has helped so many people make that transition from obscurity to stardom, not forcing them into the limelight, but opening a door here, having them meet this person there, and did it so quietly and with grace. Her imagination library. I mean, come on. Kids all across this nation have benefited from free books from Dolly Parton. And there's not a person in her family that she didn't put on, because her nephew, the one who made the grave announcement about her passing, was actually the head of her security. Like his father was before his father passed away. I mean, Dolly made sure everybody ate. That is one of the most endearing things about her. I loved her voice. I loved the way she turned a phrase in her songs. I loved Islands in the Stream, one of my favorite songs. Beautiful song. 9 to 5. I hear that in my head every morning when I'm trying to pour me a cup or two of ambition to get out here and go get it. There's so much to love about this warm spirited American woman. We're going to miss Dolly because there's not going to be anyone else like her. Not another.
Absolutely. Folks, they've studied, they call it the Dolly Parton effect, because she is one that is loved and admired by everybody, no matter your political leaning. We are so divided right now on politics. No matter your race, you can't find a bad thing to say about Dolly Parton. Take a look at this next clip in this interview where the reporter tried to get her to say something bad about Trump, and it didn't work. This is clip 8.
I'm not addressing that. I do not get into that. Of course, I have my opinion about everybody and everything. But I learned a long time ago, keep your damn mouth shut if you want to stay in show business. I'm not in politics. I'm an entertainer.
And yet, you're also a role model.
Yes, I am. That's why I don't talk about people. So if you are deciding you may want to ask me something more serious, don't, because I'm not going to answer it.
Fair one. I might still ask.
Well, you can ask, but I might still tell you where to put it if I don't know where you got it.
Come on now, darling.
Put it. You see where to put it. She meant to say where to
stick it.
Yeah, absolutely. That was Dolly Parton, and I wish we could get back to that. All right. In a society where the actors, the actresses, singers, celebrities in general, just keep the politics out of it. Sometimes I just like to, after the show on the weekend, go in and watch a good movie. I love romance movies. I actually love musicals too. And I don't care what the actors' politics are. I really don't care. I just want to enjoy the movie. I want to look at the movie and not see the actor or actress, see the character. But nowadays, you can't even do that anymore. You can't do it. They ruined it. It ruined everything. Um, so we definitely, and she was again one who was not about all this. She was not privileged. When we talk about white privilege, she was born in a 2-room cabin in Locust Ridge. I think we have the image one in Tennessee. All right, there it is. She died worth an estimated $450 million after giving millions to charity. All right, we have image 2 here, where there she is. That's where she grew up in rural Tennessee in 1946. She was the fourth of 12 children. All right, her father never learned to read or write. Okay, the doctor who delivered her accepted a sack of cornmeal as payment. So looks like a whole lot of white privilege, huh? No. Okay. Let me see here. What do we have? Image 3. Yeah. Dolly was far from alone in 1950. One-third of American homes still lacked complete plumbing. I mean, she lived a life of poverty, folks. No privilege there at all, and she still created this enormous legacy. Millions, and you can see here it says millions of white Americans also grew up poor. And again, we're showing this was not to politicize this, but to show you folks, because when we push back against this idea of black people are oppressed, white people are oppressors, white privilege, when we all push back against that, I believe personally we win. Because living in a society that views everything through race is divisive. It's very divisive. And it really it doesn't even make sense when you're talking about policy and just a country, patriotism, education. It does not make sense. And she is a living example where you don't see any privilege there. At least I don't. Am I on the wrong side of this, Shelley?
No, she grew up, like you said, in basically utter poverty. But remember earlier when I said those loony ones, they don't have to sacrifice anything. Well, actually, Dolly did. She sacrificed along the way, earned her keep, and gave millions away, helping others, black, white, brown, yellow, whatever, along the way. You didn't hear a peep about her. She didn't complain about oppression and being oppressed. She got out there, did what she needed to do to use her talent and her skills, help other people get into the business, like you said, Nicole, and help other people who outside of the music industry or the entertainment industry, period, quietly, with dignity, with beauty, with honor. It was, to her, I presume, she looked at it as not just a labor of love, but it was a part of her purpose. It was a part of her purpose here on earth to do for others, maybe for whatever reason, when they couldn't do for themselves or when they were down on luck, life just handed them a bad hand for a period of time. You didn't hear a peep about it. She didn't brag about it. She just went along her business and did what she needed to do.
Yeah. Nicole, I mean, this was a quintessential rags to rhinestones story, was it not?
It absolutely was. And the beautiful thing about it is that she was fierce in the protection of, I'm a singer and I'm here to sing, right? She was absolutely fierce about that. And when people tried to paint her into the corner, like the interviewer did, she said, oh, no, you're going to get in trouble with me if you keep pushing. If you keep pushing, trying to force me into something I don't want to be in. And I wish we could see more entertainers who do that. I wish we could see more entertainers who just wanted to entertain and mind their business, go on home, And sure, you have opinions, and sometimes those opinions leak. You know, you may be anti-gay, you may be pro-gay. I mean, you might be with the alphabet mafia. None of my business. Can you play a guitar and stay on tune? This is what I'm looking for from entertainers. I'm not looking for entertainers to influence me politically, right? I got enough politician and grassroots activists. We got that covered. But I think we've gotten to a point in our society today where everything comes with a bunch of micro labels on it. Do you know, you see this most recently with Jelly Roll. Jelly Roll's
Oh.
anti-MAGA. Everybody throw him away. Blah, 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 blah. If you like music that he makes, enjoy the music. In the Black community,
he stepped in that. He stepped in
yeah,
that.
of course he stepped in it. The man's got a face full of damn tattoos. You were expecting him to be a rocket scientist? Come on, folks. Come on. You get your political advice from that. There's a whole problem with your life, and Jelly Roll ain't the problem. The same thing with R. Kelly in the Black community. People are like, I can't believe you listen to R. Kelly. I sure do. I step in the name of love. Absolutely. It doesn't mean that I support his criminality, any of that. It means I like the music.
Right.
He's not an icon. I'm not, framing my life after this guy. It's a great song. And I hate to tell you, all the people who talk that trash are humming and tapping a toe, just like the rest of us. We have got to stop putting all of these labels and living ourselves in this little pristine box. Nobody was born perfect. No one's going to live this life perfectly. We have got to be more accepting of our human failings and be very honest about what you're supposed to get out of certain relationships versus other relationships.
Yeah. All right. Looks like we have some super chats here. Is that right?
Yes, we do. We have a couple more here. All right. We have Savrix again. Thank you for your $10. To y'all, the specific feminine force of society today is absolutely being piggybacked by all the deconstructionist ideologies. Those new protocols that will govern everyone will be immovable. It's evil. That's a mouthful, Savrix, but thank you for that. Thank you for that. And Savrix again, he says, or at Michael, I don't know who that is. I agree. To have this special panel of 3 be on the mainstream public airways, it could cancel out a lot of mainstream propaganda. All right, that's right. Make it happen.
We're here
Share
for
these
it.
videos. Share these videos. And I want to say something to KJ's comment about when you watch musicals or movies, you just want to see the entertainers and their talent. Well, let me let you all know. Robert De Niro ruined that for me. Okay.
Right,
okay.
That's what I was thinking about when I said it. I know.
He ruined that for me.
Well, folks, if you want to, go ahead.
Have you guys seen Rocky Horror Picture Show?
Oh yeah, I auditioned for the play.
So the guy who plays Dr. Frankenfurter, the tall guy, he died.
Oh right.
He also played Pennywise. He
and
played all of these.
Home Alone.
Yes, he played in a lot of different things. And the number of people who texted me today going, wait, what? I didn't know he believed in this and believed in that and believed in the other thing. I said, but wait, what does that have to do with Rocky Horror Picture Show or Pennywise or any of these other things? He was an actor. You enjoyed these characters. Move on. You have got to stop expecting, apples to taste like oranges. He was an actor. You enjoyed his craft. God bless his soul, and walk away from it, folks. We're getting to a point where we're depending on other people to provide knowledge that they're just not capable of providing. Again, most of us, our first encounter with this man was he was fully cross-dressed with fishnet stockings on, singing and dancing in Rocky Horror Picture Show. I'm not taking any political advice from him. Yeah, Tim Curry. Yeah.
And if people are just finding that out, he did it right. He did it correctly. All right, folks. Well, we will be back on Friday with a live show this Friday. You don't want to miss it. Before you go tonight, ladies, and I know I'm throwing this out there at you, I'd like to sign off tonight by singing Islands in the Stream. Just the refrain part. If you know,
I actually know the words. I actually know the words.
If you
I know the chorus.
Jump in. Yeah, just the chorus. Okay. Islands in the stream.
No.
That is what we are.
No one in between.
How can
Sail away
we
with
be
wrong.
wrong?
Oh, I'm wrong,
I'm
Bert.
just gonna
Sail
sway with
Sail
you.
away
away
with
with me
me to
to
another
another
world,
world,
and we'll
and we
rely
rely
on each
on each
other.
other. Ah, from one lover to another.
That's it.
It's
Good
a
night.
great
Good
song.
night.
It's a
Good night,
great song.
everybody.
We love you, Dolly.
Yeah.